Hi guys, and I'm sure we've got a Jack Daniels here. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Andy Marlow. Andy, obviously, if you don't know who he is, he mixed my last record, Dark Society, and he also did the bulk of the mixing in 1984. So yeah, he's like my mix engineer, but he also did a lot of the guitar work, and that's another story. But today he's going to be helping me to. Because I've got a nice Gretsch guitar, you saw it, and I can hold it and play it to a point, but I just figured I want to get someone who can really play, for this demonstration. So Andy, you've obviously, full disclosure, I mean, you're not a huge Depeche Mode fan. I think you've been listening to a lot more of it since you've been working with me. Yeah, no, I mean, it's I was familiar with a lot of the famous, known tracks, but things like album tracks I really didn't know. But just sort of referencing sounds or styles or feel and vibes. It's been interesting listening to it in a way that you will never be able to listen to it because you're such a fan that me being not knowing about it, I'll listen in a different way. But it's been fun sort of learning the guitar parts for the I Feel You. It's got some good little
and I'm
developments in it.
I'm glad you brought that up because you're absolutely right. Because this record is now 30 years old this year.
Yeah,
and so you can imagine I was listening to that through my high school years and stuff. So it's so embedded into my mind. I cannot listen to it objectively. Because I just hear it. And it's interesting. We'll go through it in some detail. As you said, when you listened to some of it, just tell us about the tuning. It's
the final mix that's certainly that's out on YouTube. I don't know if others is it slightly sharp.
Okay.
By plus 28.
Oh right, because
fine tuning.
Are we talking?
So it's less than a semitone.
Less than a semitone. And so far as a lot of the geeks out there will sometimes ask me, Vaughn, what do you think? Because I know it was Spike Stent that mixed this record, and something you and I talk about a lot, Andy. And I mean, you're a very good mix engineer, but it's not always the mix; it's the arrangement and stuff as well. But sometimes it's more the vibe, and you did that with Dark Society as well, where you'd push things that were. Where you'd feel okay, it's probably not technically correct, but it's all about
if it feels right and gets you going.
Yeah,
I don't mind things slipping a bit. I think the whole track is in tune. It's just it's not in a standard 440.
Yeah.
It's 440 plus a bit.
So and I mean, obviously,
might have been the keyboards were slightly out, or it got bounced between tape machines, and it just. Went up a bit because one machine was playing slightly faster, but it's just gone. So it's all within itself. It's just when I tune to learn it, it's not A isn't A.
That's interesting. I mean, do you think due to the experimental nature of Depeche Mode, maybe they did that on purpose, or
I think it could be anything from accident to purpose.
But the end result being...
But the end result is great, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
It so doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it bugs me if something is out of tune within itself.
Yeah.
If a guitar is just out of tune with the rest of the track, But if everything's in tune within itself, I don't care if the track's bang on.
The whole track's basically, you say 0.28?
A higher. Sharp.
That's interesting. That's very, and you see, I've never noticed that because as I say, because you're listening to it, and also disclaimer, when you were mixing Dark Society, I gave you a lot of reference material to listen to, just for vibe, and so you got to listen to a lot of that stuff as well, and and it's there where you listen to. Depeche Mode's approach is very different because I mean, you play in prog rock bands and stuff like that, so you're listening to something that is very electronic. But it's very rock, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's kind of the approach is a bit weird.
Yeah, but I like the way things are done, and the fact that keyboards are getting bunged through guitar amps and recorded as reverbs in rooms, and it's making each of those keyboard sounds individual, and it's not just out of the box and a preset, which I just cannot bear.
I know.
So I think reamping things, you can tell that they've
put a lot of work into it.
There's a lot of even if it's just one keyboard sound, it's not just something coming out of a keyboard.
Exactly.
It's going through stuff, and there's
putting bits of getting character.
And there's probably like little delays and being sends and stuff just being live done during the mixing. I would have thought in those days, because obviously no automation.
That's right. That's right.
So it's people just pushing things a bit and pulling them
and things will probably go too loud or too much delay, but it's a performance in itself, and it's the vibe.
So, and I mean, all things being objective, and opinions are opinions. If you listen to that, if we were to scrutinize the mix of that, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
It's got its vibe, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
There's things I think, just because of the way I mix, I would have done something slightly differently, but that's also because we've got the technology now to be able to do some of that easily. Whereas, I found it quite hard to play along with, because the guitars are sort of so a part of the keyboards as well, and some of the keyboards are sort of a bit distorted, and it's sometimes hard to tell, is that two guitar parts or is it a keyboard part? And
I see, yeah.
So the guitar parts I'm going to be doing are what I think are the main parts he's playing.
Yes.
But other stuff may well have happened to them, and there may be other things going on that
would
alter it, overdubbed or whatever.
That's right.
Just to
or parts that were sampled in and played back on keyboards, so to speak. Yeah.
And sometimes the tuning things can come in with that. You sample it and it goes off a bit, and certainly tape machines do funny and wonderful things. So.
Of course, yeah. We're fans of the happy accident, aren't we?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well let's run through it sort of from the start. So it starts off with the main riff, which is really just a standard. Is it 12-bar blues? Not a blues riff.
Yeah, sort of. It's a bend off the C on the A string, and then it's just playing root 5th octave. But each time he plays it on the record, it's subtly different. So it's not the same exact part every single time.
It's not like a copy and paste.
No.
Yeah.
So it starts off, and then it's a simple, and then it's even more complicated.
He brings in right.
And then clean, and then there's an extra.
Brings it down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the first one's a 4. Second one's a 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But some of those extra notes may be from it being recorded more simply with a delay or something added.
I see.
And this is where it's very hard to tell.
Exactly.
Is he actually playing that or not? And looking at the video, he's playing a simpler version, but it doesn't mean he didn't do it on the record.
Exactly. Okay. And that's a great explanation. And as I say, because, guitar is not my first instrument. So that is why I'm glad I've got you into it today. Okay, so let's start off with the way it starts. It goes, it's got that squeaky sound. It goes, then it comes in with
and then it's the jet.
I can't just sing it badly. It goes, I feel you, the sun it shines. It's just for context. And it goes, I feel you within my mind. Oh yeah. And it goes, you take me there, the kingdom comes. You take me to, lead me through Babylon. This is the dawning of our love. It's just the dawning of our love. Very interesting. I can just see, because just sort of listening to it, the obvious thing is that it's only now that you've pointed out there's all these changes of inflection.
There's lots of little augmentations.
Augmentations and inflection.
And so there's a sort of on the next section when it goes, it's the straight one, and then so there's this little skip.
Oh yes.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that only happens every sort of 4th or 8th time.
Oh, I see. And is that consistent, or is it kind of? Oh, so it's really like random, not random.
It's not random, but it's not always where you might expect.
Oh, so it's not like every 4th or every 8th time. It's just like so. There's a lot of feeling.
Yeah, sometimes it just does what it's doing for a bit, and then it'll suddenly just nibble off a bit. Or there might have been some tweakage in the background, and it's just going.
Oh, I see.
But I'm pretty certain most of it is played with a.
Yeah.
So that whole first verse and chorus is very simple. Then after the first chorus,
this is the second chorus,
and then it changes.
That's right. And I'll come in for the second verse, and he comes in. I feel you within my mind. That's right. I feel you. The sun it shines. Got the lyrics wrong. Sorry, don't kill me. And then it comes. And waits, those golden gates back again. You lead me to, lead me through oblivion. This is the dawning of love. This is the dawning of our love. Now we're coming to the bridge. And then it goes. I feel you, your precious soul, and I am home. I feel you, rising sun. Oh, bit of a change of effects, kingdom come. There's a different rhythm there now. Oh yeah, so it's really dirty. Yeah. Okay, so
and then into the middle eight. But over that, there's also going on.
That's right. Yeah.
And also on the video, he's still doing that riff. But the main thing, the main rhythm that comes out of all of those little parts together is just the.
What I'm getting from this is, and it's interesting because you are a guitarist. Well, he's a bassist first and foremost, but. Nothing wrong with that guitar playing, seriously. It's as the sort of layman's listener, you hear it's simple, but as you've delved into it, there's a lot of complexity within that simplicity.
But it's subtle because basically it's just.
Okay, so on that main riff, talk us through the notes we've got there.
So it's a bend on the C, 3rd fret, and then it's. Just a power chord.
Right.
But it's got extras of.
Right. I see. So that's it, and that's on the A.
That's the sort of the whole intro bit of verse 1.
Now let's take it when we get to the "You take me there, you take me where." That is.
It's a D. With I think an E, open E at the top, so it's only 2.
Take me there, take me where.
G, riff again.
So just D, G,
and then D.
Babylon. Yeah, we get.
And then the chorus: D, F, G, C, riff again. D, F, G, C. On the record, there's a synth or another guitar part on the chorus doing D, F, G, A. But
you hear the C.
I think the C's being played in there, but there's a big loud note just playing A, D, F, G, A. So it suspends on the A. Later on, the other choruses seem to have more of the C at the end. So D, F, G, C, riff.
I see. Okay, so those are the parts.
Those are the sort of two different ways of play depending on what
you
felt like at the time, or
at the time. And of course, when he did it live, and of course there is live footage, and of course because he's playing by himself, there's a lot on tape because he's only got
when you look at the video that was filmed at the time, I can see what he's doing, and it's not always exactly what you're
hearing.
There are more notes on the recording than what he's actually playing live, obviously.
Of course.
But that's probably what he would play live.
Yes,
which is slightly simplified, because live you aren't going to notice that fifth subtle note.
Exactly.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid. Now, okay, so that was the main riff, which is on the A. This is the dawning of our love. Okay, now let's come to that break where it goes, I feel you, your precious soul, and I am home.
So that's D again, and then C.
Precious soul.
F sharp.
Oh, that's an F sharp.
F. And then riff again. Oh, actually, we've forgotten a bit. When it gets into the second verse, the is developed, so it's slightly simpler, but it's got some extra notes in it.
Okay.
So maybe we should do that before it gets to the...
Okay.
So first verse, it was... Once it's done the second chorus, it's...
Then he comes in again. He goes, I feel you, the sun it shines. He goes, I feel you within my mind. Then it goes, where heaven waits, those golden gates, back again. You lead me through oblivion. Here we go again. This is the dawning of our love. Oh, it's just the dawning of our love. Another break. I feel you, your precious soul, and I am home. That's where it gets really messy.
And then he hits some harmonics on the 5th fret on the D and G string, I think.
Now, if we take and then it goes, where heaven waits, and then it's basically the same sort of.
Yeah, but again it changes. Yeah.
Okay, so go on.
So that's into the middle 8.
Yeah.
And then it's just some sort of, it's basically what he's doing is on the 5th fret, harmonic on the 5th on the D and the G string.
Yes. Yeah.
G.
And that gives
I feel you.
Then it comes back with it. That's right.
I mean, like, along those lines. That happens 3 times.
And then it comes back to the where heaven waits, those golden gates, back again. This is the dawning of our love. It's just the dawning of our love. This is the dawning of our love. It's just the dawning of our love.
Okay, so I'll just swap pickups there and
yeah, and then it goes.
So, but on those last choruses, I can't do it well. I'll just get the wire on. Okay. So when it gets to the last choruses, and I think even the others, it may, not quite sure if it's a keyboard going through a wire or something, but the chorus is.
It's a tremolo effect?
It's a wah,
sorry.
And then off. So that happens 4 times, and I think there's that sort of sound on it.
Right.
Again, not completely sure if it's...
Yeah.
I think it's a guitar doing it as well.
Yeah.
I think there might also be a guitar...
Yeah, I think
doing.
I think
straight.
If we were talking about a band like Red Hot Chili Peppers or something like that, it would be clear to assume, this what we're hearing is guitar.
Yeah, but I wouldn't assume it with this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it could be a keyboard part doing something, and he's just doubling up.
Yeah.
Or it could be.
Yeah.
I can hear that squeak coming in on it.
Yes.
Think it's a guitar, but with Depeche Mode, I do like the fact that it could doesn't have to be
the innovation.
It could be anything doing that.
Okay, so let's talk about the end. You say the end where it changes again.
Yeah. So just as to recap where we're going, it was the last chorus is, and then more effects and delays come in with a while still and.
Oh yeah, it's got that.
And then now that just it loops out to the end. So the first is just A string and the 5th. D string on the 5th fret, G string and B. Hitting the harmonics. So it's going a low to high feel as well.
Yeah.
So you're getting movement in that.
Yeah.
So that does that 4 times, I think. And then he starts, which is 9th fret on the D and the G string.
Yeah. Wow. And it's interesting because a lot of people won't hear that because I mean these are the things like that make up the part.
Yeah.
Because most people hear that da 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 da. That's all the.
Yeah.
So you've actually you've done well then. You've listened.
Well, I'm good at picking apart.
You're very
And one of the ways to help you work out parts is if you've got it in Logic or the DAW of your choice, is put a filter on, an EQ on it, and roll off the bottom, roll off the top quite severely until you can just hear the bit that you want to hear, even if it sounds horrible. If you get rid of all the bass end, you get rid of all those rhythms that the bass might be doing, and you can narrow it in to where you're actually trying to concentrate to hear the actual precise rhythms of what's going on.
That seems obvious now, but it's now that you say it, but that's brilliant actually.
So one of the ways that I worked out some of the guitar parts was playing it on an iPhone through the 2.5mm speaker, and you can hear that going on.
Yeah, because you don't have all the bass.
Because you don't have the bass and all the extra guitars, so you can hear the...
That's why he's my mix engineer.
So there's that going on, and I'm not sure, but they may have also mic'd up the strings of the electric guitar as well as having the amp, so you get the.
So you get the actual
so
attack.
You get that
attack. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But when you're trying to work it out, you can often hear that sort of thing going on. Once you've filtered stuff out. So it's just mucking around with the bottom cut and the top cut, moving it around, listening on different systems. Because I thought I had it sussed, and then I listened on the iPhone and went, oh, there's an awful lot more notes going on here, because they've been clouded and hidden by the other parts.
Yeah.
But they are in there.
Well, listen, mate, you've over delivered as usual. I mean, all I wanted you to do was play the riffs, but I mean, yeah, that is very interesting, and the guys are going to love this because I'm well known for going into a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we?
I mean,
you've given us a lot already.
Well, I mean, you can tell from if you look at the video that this is a Telecaster, which is single pickup.
Well, I've got my Gretsch guitar, which I'm going to give to you, and we'll
do a sort of play through the whole. I've just sort of. I may muck it up, but who knows?
That's fine. We'll play through in the Gretsch, right?
But yeah.
Hello. Right, so this beautiful guitar, some of you may have seen it on the channel. I don't get it out much. This is my Gretsch Electromatic. I love this guitar. I used this on my Dark Society album, and the funny thing is when we produced it, it was like I would play the guitar parts, and then Andy would be like, yeah, it's not very good, but we'll keep it on because it adds character. And then he would play so I guess what I'm saying is I don't deserve such a great guitar.
Yeah, it's nice.
But what we're going to do now is we're going to do a playthrough of I Feel You. Andy's just going to play it along with the actual full song. And then you'll be able to hear. Because anyway, this is the Gretsch. It's got a different character.
So these are humbucker pickups, which is 2 pickups opposite each other, which is a fatter, thicker sound than my Telecaster.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of thinner, more cutting, biting. And this is a bit.
And this is and of course Martin Gore uses a Gretsch, so this should sound closer to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So if you play the main riff. It's definitely got a more sort of country and western kind of sound to it, doesn't it?
So that's where again I think it's probably mic'd up at the same time.
Yeah. So you get the sound of the strings.
So you get the acoustic. So you get all that attack and absolute clarity of the transients.
Yeah.
And it can be as distorted as anything, but you still hear.
Yeah.
So it can get very sharp, precise, while having. Not that this is hugely distorted, but you can have massive distortion on something, and also have the clarity of the.
Well, that's great. Well, so I'm going to put you on the spot now, and I want to thank you. You've gone beyond the Call of Duty as you did with everything you've done for me. We're going to play along with the track now. So this is live in one take. We're not going to do takes.
Yeah.
So ready when you are, sir. And as always, mate, you've unlike a lot of people that overpromise and underdeliver, you have overdelivered. Because as I said, the whole idea was just play the parts, but you've done, as I say, you've spoken about those parts that. And I'm going, because
you'll be hearing things you never knew was in there.
Also, I also think because it's so, part of my psyche, there are a lot of things that I'm kind of viewing it as I cannot separate the parts.
Yeah.
Whereas you were really, and it's interesting. You were playing parts there I was like, hang on there. And yes, it is there.
Yeah, it is that.
It's there. So you've just
But it's not there. It's playing all those bits at the end.
Yeah.
It's it's not a sort of I'm playing an A, I'm playing an A.
Yeah.
It's got that feel and vibe, but it's also it's dirty and it's
got the
each time it happens, it's going to be slightly different. So you're never going to get exactly the same because your finger's slightly off and strings dead and live and.
It's quite funny. You said this earlier on, and in my channel, you get a lot of people who are, keyboard players and stuff like that. And whenever people criticize guitars, because we used a lot of guitars in Dark Society, not necessarily only as a guitar, but also as a special effect, which we'll do a video on separately. And I always said to people was, when people criticize guitars, I usually say to them, "Have you ever tried to play a guitar?" And most of the time, and it's a bit of an arrogance saying, I say to people, if you don't like guitars, it's because you've never actually played one. And it was when I was the same, but when I actually learned how to play, certainly not on your level, but when I picked it up and I could play, there is a power and you just feel cool behind a guitar, which you can't behind a keyboard.
And and because everything's, as it were, even more analog than a keyboard.
Yeah,
because the strings go out of tune, the temperature in the room affects it. One string might go out of tune more than another. This all adds to,
and it takes pieces of your skin away.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate analog experience, really.
I'm often bleeding fingers at the end of a gig. It's not because I'm trying to. It's just if you've been really going for it, you're hitting against bits of steel that are very sharp. You know, they're cheese cutters.
So no. Well, listen, man, I say you're rocking the sort of Dave Grohl look there. But listen, Andy, I want to thank you very much. I see I can't toast you. It's bad luck to toast with an empty glass, but we're going to have another Jack Daniels here. So I'd love you to come on again on the channel and help us break down some of the other
Absolutely.
stuff.
Because it's good fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, we'll get stuck into some other stuff now.
Awesome.
Guys, Andy Marlow.
Cheers.
Lots of love, brother.